In this video, we are going to cover equations with variables on both sides. So what kind of equation is that? Well, let's say I had a problem that looked like this. 5x equals, I don't know, 12. Now, that's a one-step equation. You just divide both sides by 5. But what if it said 5x equals 12 plus 2x? How do I solve this? What do I do? It's like, do I subtract 12 from both sides? No. What I want to do is I want to get all the variables on one side. And I could either do that by subtracting 5 from this side and then moving the 12 to the other side, or it makes more sense to, like, because there's a 12 right here, there's already a 5x right there, taking this variable and moving it to the, and getting rid of that. I say moving it to the other side, but really you're just getting rid of this variable so that there's only variables on this side. So, you know, I would just, hey, get rid of this variable by doing negative 2x. Now, if I subtract 2x from that side, I have to subtract it from this side. And because 5x and negative 2x are like terms, that would just, you combine those two and you end up with 3x equals 12. And then I solve. Not too bad, right? So first things first, you distribute if necessary. If there's any distribution involved, distribute if necessary. And remember, distribute is like, I don't know, 20. Distributing would be like, oh, 3 times 2x and 3 times 5. And then combine like terms, if necessary. Collect variables on the same side. So put all the variables on one side. Does it matter whether it's on the left side or right side? Nope. Do whichever's easiest. And then put the constants, which are just the plain numbers, on the same side. So put it on the opposite side. You should say, like, really, I should write, like, not same side, but opposite side. So if you put variables on one side, put the constants on the other side, and then you solve your equation. Hooray. Ready for this? It gets weird, but let's go. All right, we have our equation. Let's draw our wall down the middle. We have 8x minus 7 and 4x plus 21. Should I, like, get rid of the variable on this side or get rid of the variable on that side? Should I put my constants on the right or put them on the left? This is my recommendation. I could either subtract 8x on both sides, and then that leaves me with, like, negative 4x, and this cancels. Or what I can do is I can subtract 4x on each side, and then that gives me positive 4x. I always like to subtract the smaller variable, or essentially I want to have a positive variable to work with. Why? Well, I just end up making fewer mistakes that way. So I always usually, or I usually subtract by the smaller variable. Anyhow, let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. That cancels that out. I'm left with 4x. And then I bring down the minus 7, the equal sign, and I bring down the plus 21. Now you can write plus 21, or you could just write 21, because it just means positive 21. All right, now I need to, now that I have this, it looks like a two-step equation. I just add 7 to both sides. Look at this. Cancel that out. That equals 28. This equals 4. Bring down the 4x, divide by 4. That cancels, divide by 4. You end up with x equals 7, I believe. Yeah, x equals 7. Now, that's all. Now, there is kind of a shortcut you can do. I may show you later. But for right now, let's keep it simple. All right. My goal really is to make sure I have, you know, I could add 2x on this side and this side, and that'll get me negative 9x. But really, I don't like having negative variables, so I'd rather just add 11x on both sides, which is still subtraction. 11 minus 2 is 9x, and it's going to be positive. Bring down the plus 45. Bring down the plus 9. I guess I don't have to write plus 9, but whatever. Bring down the equal sign. All right, now that this 9x is over here, you need to get rid of the plus 45 by subtracting 45. So basically that cancels. 45. Negative 45 and plus 9, you're going to subtract, and 45 minus 9, what does that give us? Negative 36, I believe. Negative 36. All right, equals 9x. Now I need to divide by 9, cancels that out, divide by 9, and x equals 19, 27, 36, that equals 4, and it's a negative because negative 36 divided by 9 is negative 4. All right, let's try this next one. I have 13x and 6x. I'm going to subtract by the 6x, cancels that out, subtract this by that. And that's going to get me 12, 6, 7x, I believe. And this is a shortcut. I could write down plus 9 and bring down the negative 12, but let me kind of show you what I like to do as sort of a mental shortcut. I already know that my variables are all on the left side, right? Which means you want all your constants on the right side. So because I want my constants on the opposite side, I know I want to get rid of this plus 9 right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to preemptively just say, hey, minus 9. That cancels that out. But whatever I do on one side, remember, I do to the other, minus 9. And what's negative 12 and negative 9? That makes a bigger negative. So you basically add them and keep the signs. That's negative 21. Bring down the equal sign. You see that? Kind of saves you time, right? You don't have to do an extra step. Anyways, divide by 7. Divide by 7. That cancels. You're left with negative 21 divided by 7 is negative 3. So x equals negative 3. Wasn't that nice? Let's try this one. Uh-oh. Got some extra steps. Looks like on the right side we got a lot of stuff going on. So I'm gonna combine my like terms first. You can do this in many different orders, but I feel like that just is going to make my life easier because I'm used to it. So I have negative 2 and plus 15. That gets us, that's 13. That's plus 13, right? And I still have to bring down that 8x. So 8x plus 13 equals 14x plus 1. All right, let's get my x's on one side, my variable terms. So 8x and 14x, let's subtract 8x. And cancel that out. Subtract 8x from this side. That gets me 6x, I believe. And then I could write down the plus 1, but I'm just gonna save time. I'm gonna say I know I want to get rid of this plus 1, so I'm gonna get rid of it right now. Plus 1, minus 1, minus 1 from the other side, which gets me 12. And you may be thinking, like, how do I know if I could put minus 1 over here, like where? It's because negative 1 and 13 are like terms because neither of them have, like, a variable attached to them. It's not like, oh, this is minus 1x or minus 1y. It's just, this is 13, this is 1. They are like terms. You know, why did I put the 8x underneath the 14? Well, because those are both x terms. That's why I subtract it and write it underneath the 14x. Anyways, now I have 6x equals 12, and then divide by 6. That cancels. Divide by 6. I'm left with x equals 2. Hurrah. So far, so good. Let's go to number 5. I think I have room. I think it shows the whole thing. Yep. Good. So we've got Jane. And what does it say about Jane? Jane is going to solve the equation shown below. 8x minus 19 equals negative 12x plus 61. Jane thinks the first step should be to subtract 12x from both sides of the equation, but Allie thinks you should add 12x to both sides of the equation. Who is correct? How do you know? Well, and then they want you to solve the equation. So should you subtract 12x from both sides? I think not, because if you subtract 12x, like, you've got negative 12x and negative 12x. That makes a bigger negative, so that doesn't cancel it. The opposite of negative 12x is plus 12x. All right? So when you add 12x, you got to add 12x to the other side. Don't put it under the 19. You put it under the 8x because, you know, those are both x terms. So that's what you should do first. So who's right? Allie thinks you should add. Allie is correct. Allie is correct. Because you have to do the inverse. You do the inverse or opposite. Sorry, that doesn't. Inverse of negative 12x, which is plus 12x. All right, solve the equation. Gosh, I wish they gave us space, but they don't because they're terrible. I'm going to try to solve it up here. Up here, in fact, it'll give me more space. So we've got 8x minus 19 equals negative 12x plus 61. Let me add 12x to both sides. Add 12x to this side. And this cancels. I'm left with 20x. All right. Let's see. I want to, rather than bringing down the minus 19, I'm just going to get rid of it. Plus 19. Plus 19. 61 plus 19, that's, you carry the 1, 6, 7, 8, that's 80. So 20x equals 80, divide by 20, divide by 20, x equals 4. All right, next page. Got a couple more. It starts getting crazy, but this one's doable. It's just got a fraction is all, which we're not used to, but it's okay. We've got 1/4 x and x. I'm going to subtract by 1/4 x. Subtract 1/4 x, which gets us 3/4 x. So this is basically 4 over 4x. What's 4 over 4x minus 1/4? It's 3/4 x. And I can bring down the minus 4 and the plus 17 or the 17, but instead of wasting my time doing that, I know my variables are on the right side because this just got canceled right there. So now I want to cancel this minus 4, and the opposite of minus 4 is plus 4. Cancel that. Plus 4 to the other side. That gets us 21. So 3/4. 3/4 x equals 21. How do I get rid of the 3/4? You have to multiply this whole thing by 4/3, which is a reciprocal, because 3's cancel, 4's cancel. If I multiply that by 4/3, I multiply this by 4/3. That's 21 over 1. So x equals 21 times 4 is 84 over 3, I guess. And if you divide that, you actually get 28. So x equals 28. Let me write that on the side so that you can see it more clearly. There you go. Next one. Ooh, we got some parentheses we have to distribute. So I'm going to do this side. Does it matter which side? Nope. Let's do this first rainbow, single rainbow. That's 6x. Do double rainbow. Whoa, 3 times positive 1 is positive 3. Single rainbow, 5x is 5x. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. Okay, now we can proceed. Combine my x's. Let's see, 5x and 6x. I'm going to subtract 5x. That cancels out. Subtract 5x on this side. And that gets me 1x, right? Just x. So let's get rid of this plus 3 over here by doing minus 3. Cancel that out. Minus 3 over here. Minus 20 and minus 3 equals minus 23, because two negatives make a bigger negative when you are combining. And when I say combine, I mean adding and subtracting is what I call combining. All right, x equals negative 23. That's all. That's all you can do. X equals negative 23. That was kind of nice. All right, let's do the next one. Whew, getting crazy. We have parentheses, so we better do some distributing. 12 times x is 12x. 12 times positive 3 is positive 36. Bring down the 6 plus 7x plus 30 plus 6x. I mean, I didn't really have to rewrite that whole thing. I also could have on this side at the same time just said, oh, well, I have two like terms. 7x plus 6x, they're both positive, so that equals 13x plus 30. On the left side, I now have some stuff to deal with. I have 6, which is positive. I have 36, which is also positive. That equals positive 42. And I also have the 12x, so bring down the 12x. 12x plus 42 equals 13x plus 30. All right, I now have 12x and 13x. Which one do I want to get rid of? I'm going to get rid of the 12x because it's smaller. Subtract 12x over here now. And that gets me 1x, or just x. Now, I have my x terms on the right. We should get rid of our constants on the right side as well. Get rid of the plus 30 by doing subtract 30. Subtract 30 over here, and that gets us 12. So x equals 12. Hooray. Whoa, this gets super complicated. Now I have a fraction, which I hate, but it's okay. Let's start by doing distribution. It looks like we have to do distribution on both sides. Let's do this side first. 1/3 times 6x is, that's 6 over 1. 1 times 6 is 6 over 3 times 1 is 3. 6 over 3x, which is basically 6 divided by 3 is not 3, it's 2x. 1/3 times 9 over 3, that's like basically 9 over 3, which is positive, which is basically 3. So 2x plus 3, and then we have the bring down the 5 from there, bring down the plus, so 5 plus 2x plus 3. I'm going to keep working on this side rather than rewriting the other side. So I'm going to combine this like term, 5 with the plus 3. That gets me 8. And then I have 2x, which is positive, so 2x. And 5 and 3, when I combine them, that gets me a positive 8. Okay, on my right side, I have this negative and this parentheses, so just changes the sign of everything inside. So this positive x, this when I apply it to this x, this positive x turns into a negative x. And this negative 4, because it's negative 4, turns into a positive 4. All right, so I need to just bring that down. Bring down the equal sign, bring down the minus x, bring down the plus 4. All right, I can do this. I have 2x and a negative x. What do I want to get rid of? I want to get rid of negative x, because that means I add plus x, so plus x, or plus 1x. That cancels out. I'm left with 3x. Now that I have the x's on this side, I want to move my constants on the other side, so get rid of all the constants on this side. Plus 8. Opposite of that is minus 8. Get rid of that. Do it on the other side. 4 minus 8 is negative 8. And then, let's see. I believe that's it. Did I do this correctly? No, I did not. I know I did something wrong. 4 minus 8 is negative 4, not negative 8. I was like, there's something wrong looking with that. And there was, because basically opposite sides you subtract and you take the sign of the bigger number. So 8 minus 4 is 4. And then the 8 was negative and it's bigger, so the answer is negative. So 3x equals negative 4. Now we divide by 3. Divide by 3. And that cancels. You're left with x equals negative 4/3, which is all you can really do with that. I mean, if you want, you could say that's negative 1/3. Sure, if you want, but x equals negative 4/3 is just fine. Oh, goodness gracious. We have a couple more. 2 more, in fact. 2 more, in fact. So let's do this. Write and solve the equation modeled below. So on this equation, we have 2x, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2x plus 6. On this side, we have negative 2x, negative 1, negative 2, so minus 2. And that's our equal sign. So I'm going to write it on over here, using blue this time, because why not? 2x plus 6 equals negative 2x minus 2. And thank goodness this is actually kind of easy compared to the last couple. So I can get rid of this 2x, or the negative 2x. I hate dealing with negatives, so add 2x. That crosses out. Add 2x over here, and that's going to equal 4x. Now, I need to get rid of the constants on this side, so get rid of the negative 6, or get rid of the positive 6 by doing negative 6. And I have to subtract 6 from this side, and a negative, make a bigger negative, that's negative 8. So 4x equals negative 8, divide by 4, divide by 4. X is going to equal negative 2. So my equation, I guess I should have written that down, is 2x plus 6 equals negative 2x minus 2. My solution is x equals negative 2. There it is. And finally, we've got this problem. The perimeter of the rectangle and the triangle are shown are the same. So the perimeter of the rectangle and the triangle shown are the same. So this perimeter is the same as that perimeter. Write an equation to represent the situation and solve for x, then find the perimeter of each shape. My goodness, this is a lot to do. So the perimeter, remember, is the distance around. They're saying this is the same as this. So if I do 5x minus 2 and 3x minus 0.5, goodness, I should probably write the perimeter of this side on one side first, and then I'm going to figure out the perimeter of this on the other side. Let me do that in, like, I don't know, red. Okay, so let's do the blue first. So we have 5x plus 5x plus 3x plus 3x. Goodness gracious. That is like 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's like 16x, I guess. And then you have minus 0.5 minus 0.5. That's like minus 1. And then you have minus 2. That's like minus 4, which gets us 16x minus 5, right? So that's one side of the equation. It is 16x minus 5. On the other side of the equation, let's go ahead and put a little purple thing in the middle. The red part, it's 2x plus 3 plus 2x plus 3 plus 10x minus 5. So let's add the x's. 2x and 2x and 10x. That's 2 plus 2 is 4 plus 10 is 14x. And then we have 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 minus 5 is 1. So plus 1. So equals 14x plus 1. Now they want us to solve it. So let's solve it. 16x minus 5 equals 14x plus 1. Oh, this actually isn't that hard once you get the equation. I have 16x and 14x. I would rather subtract the 14x. Get rid of that. Subtract 14x from the other side, which gets me 2x. Now I need to get rid of all the constants on the side. So negative 5, the opposite of negative 5 is plus 5. Yay, I like adding. Plus 5. That cancels out. 5 plus 1, that's easy. That is just 6. So 2x equals 6. Divide by 2. And you're left with x equals 3. So x equals 3. Now the perimeter. How do I find the perimeter? Well, if I know that what x is, I can basically plug x into this. I could plug it into that, or I can just say, well, I've added all of this up. This is the perimeter of the triangle. This is the perimeter of the rectangle. They're both the same. So whether I plug it into 16x minus 5 or 14x plus 1, it should yield the same answer. So I'm going to do 14x plus 1. So 14 times 3 plus 1, that's 10, 20, 30. 42 plus 1, which is 43. I believe the perimeter is 43. Now, let's make sure. Let's plug it into the 16x minus 5. So 16 times 3 is 15, 30, 45, 48. Minus 5. 48 minus 5 is 43. Yeah, that's 43, and that's that. Wow, that took forever. Go ahead and try some problems on your own.